You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun of the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio, anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And you can reach us anytime right here, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. every Sunday morning on Go Country 105. Before we get into our intriguing content, though, let me introduce you. Easier for me to say, because it's too early on Sunday morning. Let me introduce you, our featured guest today, Blake Vartanian, Realty Pro 100. Welcome.
Hey, Ron. Thank you.
Glad to have you with us. Let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. If you're listening to us on the radio on Sunday morning, it is American Eagle Day. American Eagle Day. Love that. National Hike with a Geek Day. Now, I am a geek. I don't hike, so I guess that counts me out. Turkey Lovers Day. I don't know about that one either. Turkey Lovers Day. I can go for a barbecue maybe, but not Turkey Lovers Day. National Seashell Day. Vanilla Milkshake Day, I like that one. Ice Cream Soda Day. And yes, of course, if you're listening to us on the radio Sunday morning, it is Father's Day. Wishing every father a happy Father's Day. I will be thinking about mine. Won't be with him, unfortunately. And you know something, if your father is still alive, if he's around, I'm going to just throw this out there to you. Take advantage of it. There's many of us that would do a whole heck of a lot to celebrate one more Father's Day. So I'm just going to throw that out there, wishing every father out there happy Father's Day, right from our family to yours. So let's see what's going on in the world right now. It's a little bit different. We're talking about, I'm getting a lot of calls on this one. So we're going to chat about this with Blake Vartanian this morning. What's going on after all these forbearances? Right, so that's a big issue right now. Are you hearing a lot of questions about that, Blake?
We're starting to. People are starting to get a little concerned about what's going to happen when the forbearance period's over.
So it's an interesting conversation. Now, I'm going to throw this out to you because based on our conversation this morning and what's going on in the world and how many people I'm getting calls from. So if you went into the COVID forbearance, right, basically you have a government-sponsored entity loan. That would be Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, VA, FHA, USDA. I think I covered them all. They've all set up some pretty interesting programs, and they're fairly similar. Most of them are basically saying you go into forbearance. They give you that opportunity. If you skipped payments, because there's a lot of people that went into forbearance as a safety net and never really missed any payments. So what they've done is they have that on there. Those are going to be expiring. We've got the notifications from the entities. There will be no more extensions. Now, they could change that, but that's what they've told us. And for the most part, you're back in the game after 3 months. 3 payments, and you can buy a new house, refinance a new house. FHA's got a little quirks in there for certain types of products that you have to wait 6 months Most of the programs, what I'm hearing, is they're going to put the missed payments, if you missed any, on the end of the loans to be done as a loan modification. Keep your paperwork. Very, very important. Keep the paperwork, because if you go to buy, sell a new house down the road, you're basically going to be looking at it and saying, okay, what's the story? And it will come out. But if you do a forbearance, we're going to know about it. Lenders are going to know about it. Realtors are going to know about it. Title companies are going to know about it, whether you tell them or not. So they're going to all have that information. So keep the paperwork. There are a couple of different programs that I've seen out there that are actually putting what we call a silent second on the property. So those missed payments, they're going to put a second on there. Whenever you sell, refinance, or they term out, 30 years down the road, 25 years down the road, however much longer is on your note, then it's going to have a payment period at that time, but you're not going to have any payments on it until then. So there's just a couple ideas of the forbearance world of what's happening now. But you can still buy a new house, right? I mean, if you've got a new house, if you made your 3 payments, because one of the things we want to talk about, Blake, is we don't want somebody to go and buy a new house and find out that once they've closed on their departing property, that they've got a 3-month or 6-month window until they can close on their new property.
That would be terrible.
Right? That could cause a problem with the sellers of their acquisition property. Right? Right now you're probably seeing a lot of people that are getting into multiple bid offers.
Absolutely. Well, just the perfect case in point. We had a client who successfully closed, but we had to jump through hoops because they had the forbearance. So they were telling one lender they couldn't pay, but they applied for a new loan. They did get approved. And when the payoff information, the demand came in, it was for $10,000 more than what their statement was showing.
Okay, so basically what's going to end up happening is you're going to have a $10,000 surprise, right? Because it's going to be found. And when you got your net sheet, the document that shows how much you were going to get to move into your new property, well, it was off by just a little bit.
And it affected their ability. They had to go and get an additional resource for the additional money to pay off the loan and still have enough to meet the lender's guidelines for the new loan. So they were able to do it because they had some family members who were willing to chip in and help. But it was they were surprised. I believe they were legitimately surprised because they didn't realize they were going to have to pay that back.
And that's a big issue. So there's no free lunch, right? Regardless of what the governor wants to tell you, just remember that if you didn't make the payment, the investor wants their money back.
Yes.
Right. So it's gonna come up. It's gonna come up somewhere, someplace, somehow. So maybe just think about that concept and have a conversation, because maybe what you need to do is, how was that found, Blake?
It was actually the demand letter that came from the work that escrow did. So escrow discovered it. So the client claimed they had no knowledge of that balance, and the agent certainly didn't, because the client didn't tell the agent anything. And so it was a surprise to escrow when they went to, getting closer to the end of the process. All of a sudden they have this demand for more than the projections.
Explain the demand.
Okay, so the demand is what the lender sends to escrow, saying this is what we need in order to provide the payoff, or to pay off the loan successfully so that you can get clear title.
So they say that, okay, we need I'm just using a round number here, $110,000, and then we'll remove the lien. If we don't get $110,000, we're not removing the lien.
Exactly.
So if they don't remove the lien, you don't get to sell the property, and the new people don't get to buy the property, and it's just a chain that goes on from there.
Right.
So forbearance, it's not a major issue, but it is an issue for you to be aware of. That's our whole point of our conversation, is we want full disclosure, right? There's no secrets in this world anymore.
No, and forbearance is not forgiveness.
That's a good point.
Forbearance is basically deferral of some sort, in other words, and a way to navigate some troubling times for a lot of people who legitimately took advantage of it, and it was offered, and thank goodness for a lot of people it was, because
a lot of people.
It did, and it probably saved a major ripple in the home industry, because
maybe in our whole economy, because it could have, this whole thing could have been another 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big government guy, but the government really stepped up and I think put a safety net in that helped a lot of people.
I think in this case it was the right thing to do, because the loss of wealth that would have happened in America had we gone through that, all of a sudden that shocking pandemic after shockwave, in addition to the dealing with the pandemic itself, to have the economic crisis coming from that, it was already difficult enough for these people who lost their jobs and were told to go home, and they weren't quote unquote essential workers, or they got laid off because their companies weren't able to keep them employed for whatever reason, or their businesses simply shut down. A lot of people were impacted because in Southern California, a lot of people own their own businesses and were substantially challenged throughout the whole process and had no real opportunity for relief other than that forbearance.
Yeah, that's a big issue, and a great point is that, and that's, I think that's what the government should have done, is that safety net is important. So that's kind of where we are with the forbearance world. So make sure that if you're thinking about buying, selling, refinancing, and again, refinancing is great right now. There's a lot of opportunity there. And if you're thinking of selling, for sure, don't forget, you can get our free home sellers guide, RSR HSG. Text RSR HSG, easy for me to say. RSR HSG to 79564. Just think about it. Ron Siegel Radio Home Sellers Guide. Use the first letter of each one. Text that to 79564. Get a free, it's about a 20-page book. We come out with it every quarter. Totally compliments of Ron Siegel Radio. Because I'm going to suggest to you, if you're thinking about it, good or bad time, Blake, to sell it to sell a house right now?
Oh, it's an incredible time to sell, incredible time to actually buy. If you can, I realize a lot of people are frustrated with the home process, whether they're selling or buying. They don't like the inconvenience of it. But in reality, it's a very short period of time to get what you really want. And so if you're looking for your dream home, invest the time to find the right property.
So talk about that a little bit, Blake, is usually you hear, okay, buyer's market. Okay, we know what that means, that buyers are in control. And it's a great time to buy. Seller's market. Okay, sellers are in control. Great time to sell. But right now, it's pretty much both, right? It's a buyer's and a seller's market.
Yeah, I always say the difference between the real estate agent on the street who's a true professional and the technology companies that might have a buyer for a piece of property or offer to buy the property direct is you want to be able to sell the real estate or purchase the real estate in your best interest. And so when we look at, so for some people that means they don't for whatever reason, they might have a compelling reason why they can't put their house on the market because some compelling issue. We had a house in Anaheim where the seller had a situation where they had a family issue. They could not put the home on the market for fear of what the other family members might do in reaction to it. The people who we were working with had owned the property free and clear with a clear title. There was no doubt they were the owners of the property, and they just didn't want to go through the hassle of having their house publicly on the market. And so we were able to work with them to find a buyer who was willing to pay fair market value for the property, and they were able to close it. And they wrote one of the most incredible testimonials because they were so happy that they didn't have to go through that challenge during the COVID of potentially people bringing COVID into their house.
So how do you determine what you said, I've always said fair market value is what a willing buyer will pay a willing seller.
Yes.
So do you think that they would have got more money if they put it on the market? I mean, it wasn't possible. So their scenario is they had to do what they had to do.
Right.
But do you think that that's going to get somebody in a different situation? Is that going to maximize somebody's sale price by doing it that way?
Everyone has a different hot button. So we recently had a property that we disclosed fully that the property was worth $800,000, and the client said, "Oh, I just want $720." And we said, "What's so magical about $720? Just bring me $720." So they signed the documentation, acknowledging that they knew that we believe that the property could fetch $800,000 or more, because we don't want anybody to be disappointed.
Sure.
And we brought them the offer that they asked for, and everybody was more than ecstatic at the close. And I think it just comes down to everyone has their own personal needs, and it's not a cookie cutter, one size fits all process. And that's why you need to sit down with a professional who understands your individual situation and has the ability to custom craft an individual outcome. So many of these larger firms are designed around an algorithm or an avatar or a specific process in which everyone has to fit into a certain scenario in order for them to become a client of that firm. And that's fine if that's what you want. I just don't necessarily believe that that's in everyone's best interest across the whole marketplace.
There's a lot of unique people, a lot of unique situations. Everybody's got their own story. And what's important to have from a professional is figure out what's correct for that client,
right,
and deliver.
Yeah, and you never know until you're sitting there just talking about it.
Doesn't work by doing it on the computer. I'm just throwing that out there. Now,
No.
Zoom maybe, but for the most part, sitting face to face across the table next to each other is the way to do it. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, we've got a better outcome section for you. We're going to chat about that. We've also going to have we got a real-time real estate segment. I'm going to look at all my notes. And we're going to talk about building wealth through real estate. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Take action and put your money to work for you instead of working for your money. Are you sitting on $100,000 of home equity? Realty Pro 100 has your solution. Realty Pro 100 Wealth Builder program may increase your net worth by $50,000 to $75,000 or more per year. Learn more about the Realty Pro 100 Wealth Builder program by texting My Wealth Builder to 79564. Text My Wealth Builder to 79564. License DRE 020590058.
Blue Water Credit Repair is the industry leader in fixing bad credit. Did you know a 40-point increase in your credit score can save you $40,000 on a home loan and $4,000 on a car loan? You deserve good credit and peace of mind. Take the first step today and go to bluewatercredit.com and register for a free consultation from one of their credit repair experts. That's bluewatercredit.com.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
Dreaming of your retirement does not include losing your house. However, due to today's lower stock market, higher medical bills, and taxes, many retirees face this very problem. This is why it is necessary that you, as a baby boomer considering retirement within the next 10 years, understand reverse mortgages and what one could do for you or your parents. The reverse mortgage could make it possible for you or your parents to travel, buy a second home, or start a new business. For more information about reverse mortgages, just call our off-air number at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990, or visit realestatewithron.com and click the free workshop button.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions, as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime. at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. So we're going to chat a little bit this morning. I've got a wealth building solution. We try and do this for you all the time. A real-time scenario. So this happens to be one of the private clients called in, and we put this out there so you can actually see it. This is something called a rapid equity builder. And I'm going to give you some numbers. Every one of these numbers are accurate. They are a real scenario that's in discussion right now with the team. So we're talking about a property, and I'm not going to tell you where the property is. I'm not going to tell you who the property is for. I'm not going to give you any private information. And I'm not going to give you any guarantees. I'm just giving you some highlights of what we're looking at here. So we're looking at a $1.2 million property. If you want details on this, it's going to be very, very simple. You're going to be able to go and you're going to be able to text RSR Wealth to 79564. RSR Wealth, 79564. You can actually get the full details, again, no private information, off of this scenario. So it's a $1.2 million property. The family right now has a loan on the property, $374,000. They've got an interest rate of 3.375. Not a bad rate, right? And we're looking at a couple of different scenarios for them. One scenario is at 3.5% interest, one's at 3.25% interest, and another one at 3.5%. And yes, because of legal works, I'm going to tell you that we've got a 3.533 APR, a 3.362 APR, and another 3.533 APR. Goal from the family was to pull $225,000 out of the property for investment purposes. Now, again, I am not licensed with the SEC or NASD. I don't do tax. I don't do it legal, none of that stuff. So I know FINRA doesn't like when you take money out of your residence and put it into another investment, but it is legal. So this family is taking $225,000 out of their property and wanted to do an investment. And with their financial advisor, their investment is looking at about $500,000. I'm sorry, 15 years, 5% was their target return on investment, 5%. So when we look at the net worth, by the time they take their property appreciation and the $225,000 invested and compounding and paying down their mortgage, their net worth at the end of 15 years under the first scenario, $2,244,182. Now, if they did absolutely nothing, their net worth after that 15 years is $1,970,972. That's the appreciation of the property. So under all scenarios, the property is going to appreciate the same amount, right? But under the second scenario, where they're actually using a little equity, buying down the interest rate, they're going to get an extra $15,000 in net worth. Not bad, but is there a better way? Now, we're going to explain how we come up with these numbers. Again, we don't guarantee anything. But what if you get a 21% return on that money over the same 15-year period? We're going to take a wild guess what your net worth is at the end of that 15 years. $6,827,233. Triple the amount. Triple. You've been evangelizing this, Blake, for a long time.
It's one of the major advantages of owning real estate in your portfolio, not as solely as your entire portfolio, but as a key ingredient. You show me, I've yet to have anyone show me in my lifetime a billionaire who doesn't own real estate in their portfolio.
So let's talk about this scenario and walk it through a little bit, Blake. So we just liberated $225,000 from this house that was actually sitting there and doing absolutely nothing.
Right.
It was dead equity.
Right.
Our rate of return on equity, Blake? Zero. It's always zero, right? Because the property is going to appreciate however it's going to appreciate.
It's funny how many times you ask me that question. I still have to think about it. It's still zero.
Hasn't changed, Blake.
Yeah, 0 times 0 is 0.
It's always going to be the same.
No times any numbers.
No trick questions here, Blake. I don't want to cause a problem here and then tell me you're gonna kick me under the studio desk and say, hey, why do you give me these trick questions, Ron? It was a pretty straightforward.
Right.
Okay, so we liberated $225,000 from this real estate, and we took that $225,000 and we bought an investment property with that money. Now, I don't want to get into the weeds here, but I can tell you with 100% certainty there is a loan program currently on the market that, as long as the property is cash flow positive, you can get a loan, because they don't really look at income or anything else. They're looking at the and I'm not going to guarantee it, but there are loan programs out there. If you're cash flow positive, which means you have $1 more in rental income than your principal, interest, taxes, insurance, HOA, if there is, $1 more. So all you have to do is have $1 more, and if you don't have a job, that's fine. Okay, so $225,000, and we're going to put that into, let's just call it an $850,000 property.
Okay.
And we know in Orange County, California, that the 61-year appreciation rate, going backwards 61 years, don't know what's going to happen over the next 15, but over the last 61 years, we've got 5.32% return on investment, or appreciation on the property, not return on investment, appreciation. So if we take that $225,000 and we buy the $850,000, that's about 25% down payment. So we can pretty much say it's 4-to-1.
Really close.
Right? So we're saying 4-to-1. So we just used a 21% return on that investment that I just talked about. Compounding. Right? It's not just 21% on 850, so say 160,000. No. It's 160. It's you've got a 4-to-1. I know it's kind of hard what I'm saying here. It's not really tying in. I probably need another cup of coffee, right? But the bottom line is your return on your cash is really significantly more.
Well, the key is the ability to leverage. And so in so many investments, you have to pay 100%. If you buy a 10-year treasury, you cannot leverage that investment. You have to buy the 10-year treasury.
Sure, so you're paying 100%.
Right.
So if you're buying a $100 bond, you're buying a $100 bond. It costs you $100.
Right. And so while real estate does fluctuate over time in valuation, it's not like the stock market, where the stock market can drop 6, 7, 8% in one cycle, maybe over a period of a week. I've never seen real estate drop 5 or 6 or 7% in 1 week or 1 month.
And over a 5 or 10 year period, it just doesn't go down.
Right. So, I challenge anyone to go back a decade and tell me you can buy that same piece of real estate cheaper today than you could have a decade ago.
Right. That's a big issue. So what we're talking about here is, because we're leveraging, and we come up with that 5 to 21% return, is just saying 5.32 times 3 or 4.
Well, and when we look at what the government is doing in some circles, if you read cash is trash, I'm not diminishing the idea that you have cash in your portfolio, but there are people who believe that that's not the place to have your money right now, because it's not earning any interest, it's not doing anything. So
and that's a big difference, though, that we want to contrast that, though.
Absolutely.
That you want to have 6 to 12 months worth of
all the time
of an emergency fund. You're not talking about that portion.
No, and I'm not talking about the portion that I'm glad you're clarifying this, because everyone should have a certain amount of their portfolio tied up in cash.
Right. Just emergencies. That way you don't have to, you don't have anybody telling you have to sell at the wrong time.
Right. So not, the idea in any kind of situation, you want to have liquidity.
Right.
And real estate is not necessarily a liquid asset, although many people treat their homes like their liquid assets. They use them as ATM machines to refinance, to pull out cash, to buy other things, which is probably in many cases, some of the things they buy would make it the worst investment they've ever made.
It's not an investment, it's an expense.
It's an expense.
Right.
So they took this equity position and converted it into a negative in their overall portfolio without realizing it, because they worked maybe on impulse because they wanted something, but they didn't really stop to think, how does this impact me between now and retirement?
Right.
And the years that I want. So when we look at the ability for most people to retire on the total wealth that they have, it doesn't exist. Their belief that their $1 or $2 million or $3 million is a lot of money. Oh, I'm not debating that it's not a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
It's just not enough to get to the finish line based on your current standard of living.
And that's the whole thing right there, is what is your standard of living? What do you want out of life? Do you want to cat food, or do you want to have Ruth Chris? You tell me. I mean, that's the whole issue right there. We're going to continue our conversation. I might even figure out how to get another cup of coffee during the break. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, we're going to get a little bit of using the right expert to guide you in real estate, big issue, and 2 common mistakes made with divorce and mortgage. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
What's your plan to beat inflation and protect and build your future wealth? If you're not sure, and if you would like to learn the secret of building wealth by utilizing your current assets with little or no risk, Realty Pro 100 has your solution. Realty Pro 100 Wealth Builder Program may increase your net worth by $50,000 to $75,000 or more per year. Learn more about the Realty Pro 100 Wealth Builder Program by texting My Wealth Builder to 79564. Text My Wealth Builder to 79564. License DRE 020599058.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams, or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Blue Water Credit Repair is the industry leader in fixing bad credit. Did you know a 40-point increase in your credit score can save you $40,000 on a home loan and $4,000 on a car loan? You deserve good credit and peace of mind. Take the first step today and go to bluewatercredit.com and register for a free consultation from one of their credit repair experts. That's bluewatercredit.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037 and DRE number 018694552.
Are you tired of paying rent? Are you tired of paying someone else's mortgage? Do you know qualified folks can potentially purchase a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket? Ron Siegel can help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. If you're tired of paying someone else's mortgage, reach out to Ron today at ronismylender.com. That's ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text SLT Home Digest to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. The digest tells you exactly what the market believes about your property. It'll tell you what the county recorder knows about your property, and it's a monthly email that comes to you with great information all about your property, not the national numbers. It's yours. The right expert will guide you through this unprecedented market in a normal market. It's good to have an experienced guide coaching you through the process of buying or selling a home. That person can advise you on important things like pricing your home correctly or the first steps to take when you're ready to buy. However, the market we're in today is far from normal. As a result, an expert isn't just good to have by your side, an expert is essential. Today's housing market is full of extremes. Mortgage rates hovering near record lows are driving higher buyer demand. On the other hand, an absence of sellers is creating record low housing inventory. This imbalance in supply and demand is leading to a skyrocketing rate of bidding wars and more houses selling over their asking price. This is driving home prices appreciation and gains in home equity. These market conditions aren't just extreme, they can be overwhelming. Having a trusted expert to coach you through the process of buying and selling a home gives you clarity, confidence, and success through each step. Here are just a few of the ways a real estate expert is invaluable. Contracts. There are a lot to contracts, especially in the state of California. So you want to make sure you have somebody that really understands the contracts. Experience. Well-versed in real estate and experience with the entire sales process. Negotiations. Acting as a buffer in negotiations with all parties throughout the entire transaction. Education. Simply and effectively explain today's market conditions and decipher what they mean for your individual goals. Pricing. The professional helps you understand today's real estate values when setting the price of your home or making an offer to purchase. Real estate agent can be your essential guide through this unprecedented market. But truth be told, not all real estate agents are created equal. A true expert can carefully walk you through the whole real estate process, look out for your unique needs, and advise you on the best ways to achieve success. Finding the right agent should be your top priority when you're ready to buy or sell a home. And I'm going to suggest to you, cut rate agents are probably getting exactly what you paid for, right? You can go to Walmart and get a real cheap shirt, or you can go to Nordstrom and get something to cover your body just as well. Might cost you a little more, might last you twice as long. So how do you know the right expert? Well, I'm going to tell you very simply. I want somebody that's in the business for a period of time or has a great mentor, and I want to know who the mentor is, right? Because there are new people, they might be great, but everybody starts out on day one, right? They don't know everything there is to know. And I've had some professionals on my show that have been in the business 30, 40, 45 years. I think 44 is the longest I've had. And she said to me, Ron, there's always some sort of hiccup in transactions. After 44 years, you know how to navigate. We actually use speed bump. That way you know how to navigate those speed bumps and how to still get to the finish line. And if you listen to the last segment, Blake was sharing about a scenario there. I'm not going to repeat it. You can go back and listen to it if you'd like. It's on Ron Siegel Radio. You can look in the radio archives and hear all of our programs, probably about 3,000 of them now. But the bottom line is you're going to get the best advice from somebody who knows you, not an online service, knows your goals, knows what you're trying to accomplish, helping you get to that finish line that you really want. So, and the easy way of dealing with all this, very, very simple. Call me. If you're in the sound of my voice, I know real estate professionals in the sound of my voice everywhere. Give me a call. We'll put you in touch. And don't forget, you can get your free home buyer's guide. Text RSR HBG to 79564. RSR HBG to 79564. And we'll send you a copy of our free home buyer's guide. And we come out with that every single quarter. So we've been chatting about building equity, and I want to just clarify a couple of numbers here that we talked about in the last segment. But we're talking about getting a scenario where you're liberating $225,000 of your equity out of a property, buying an $850,000 property. I just used Orange County because I have the number in front of me. Orange County property appreciates 5.32% is the average over the last 61 years. I don't know what it's going to do next year. I can tell you that the forecasts for next year are 9.1%. I don't know whether it'll happen, but that's the forecast. And I can also tell you that through the leverage that Blake talked about in the last segment, you can buy probably an $850,000, $900,000 property for that $225,000 in cash. So you're getting 4 times the investment. So basically we said 4 times that 532 comes out to, I just called it 21 for round numbers. And we looked and said, okay, if we put that money into a great investment, 5%, okay, that's going to grow to about $2.2 million, I think is the number that we looked at. But in real estate, it's going to grow to $6.8 million. That's a massive number. And that's over 15 years. And that's without pulling some more equity out, Blake, and doing it over multiple times in the middle. That could be done too, right?
Yes, every 18 to 24 months, we want to sit down and reevaluate the position of what you've done in the previous cycle, not long-term cycles. Sometimes the cycle allows for you to, have multiple chances to move up. So to grow, I would say if you start with one unit or one house, might be your primary residence, it's possible to build that into multiple, what we would call in the investment world, doors or units, so that you have multiple properties working to help you build your wealth and have somebody else paying off the mortgage for you.
Now you made a comment here, Blake, that's something that is a big difference from what most people are seeing, right? So you hear about in real estate, especially, I don't know what the stats are. It used to be that like 90% of the people said that they would reuse their real estate professional again, and only about 15 or 20% do and the reason was they forgot about them.
Exactly.
And you just said that you're going to have a conversation every 18 to 24 months.
Well, just on that subject. In the meantime, we'll be in contact for other updates and information about what's going on, because some people need to invest in steps. They might have $500,000 that this year they want to invest $250 of it, and they want to see how that goes, and then the next year they want to do $250. But the statement you just made is such an important part of why Realty Pro 100 was created in the first place, because the traditional real estate companies in general are in trouble if they are going to try and compete against the high-tech, high transactionally based companies, because they're the Amazon of the world. They're interested in a different outcome. They're not necessarily looking at how do I run a profitable business. They're looking at how do I attract investors to a business model that's creating revenue, that has a gross multiplier based off of what's happening on the securities exchange, on the stock market exchanges, and how do we grow wealth for our shareholders that way. That's a different play.
Sure.
Those people don't necessarily have a personal interest in your well-being and outcome. They're looking for expediency and how fast, because we've worked in some varied amount of companies that have had different strategic focuses.
They're more transactional, I think. And
yes.
They're not really looking as from what I see, you're trying to, your program has more to do with, it's almost like being a financial advisor as opposed to a transactional realtor.
In aspects related to real estate, I would agree with that. Obviously, in the securities world, we don't have that.
Sure.
We don't have that ability, nor would we even pretend that we.
Right.
do.
We're not saying that you're
everything has to do with our real estate license.
Sure.
So in our lane that we're really good at, the strategies that we're employing started 2 generations ago in my family. So I've been able to walk alongside these concepts and witness firsthand in thousands of transactions of actual doors, units being transacted, that over time the wealth continues to be built at an exponential rate versus the very normal slow pace of what most people would build in their lifetime. So I always go back to, in my example of my maternal grandfather worked at Paramount Studios for 50 years. He got a retirement check for $78. My grandmother, and he died in 1991. My maternal grandmother was still getting that $78 when she died in 2008. So he built what he thought was going to be a retirement for himself, and they ended up living in a mobile home in Westminster, at the corner of Westminster and Magnolia. And it was a beautiful life. They had the life they wanted. They were two people who loved their family, who weren't interested in building material wealth, but they ate government cheese and they had government milk. And, wow. and there was no reason for that.
Absolutely. We're talking about a program here, or a journey that just in a very, very simple manner developed $6.8 million in net worth. Right. And it could be done. That could be
on a $225,000
investment over 15 years. I'm going to suggest when we come back, we're going to talk about this more with Blake Vartanian, Realty Pro 100, that maybe you could do that quicker. Maybe you can do it bigger, better. We're going to continue our conversation. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, I'm going to also talk a little bit about a better outcome. We talk about these all the time on Ron Siegel Radio. 2 common mistakes made with divorce and mortgages, all that and more. You can reach me anytime, off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter, I'm no longer on Twitter. We dropped that one. Sorry about that. Hey, but if you can catch our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
If you're listening to this program, building personal wealth is a topic you're familiar with, and you probably understand that making money is about creating a high income from a high-paying job or running a business, while building wealth, on the other hand, is about creating a stock of value that goes up over time. You've also probably noticed lately that prices for fuel, groceries, and raw materials are skyrocketing, while your monthly income remains flat. Welcome to Inflation 101. One of the fastest growing wealth building strategies is utilizing your current assets with little or no risk, like the equity in your home. Realty Pro 100 has been helping people like you increase their net worth by $50,000 to $75,000 per year. Now's the time to put your money to work for you and beat inflation. Learn more and start building your wealth by contacting Realty Pro 100. Text My Wealth Builder to 79564. Text My Wealth Builder to 79564. Receive free information on how the Realty Pro 100 Wealth Builder program works and if it's the right wealth building strategy for you. License DRE 020599058.
Are you tired of paying rent? Are you tired of paying someone else's mortgage? Do you know qualified folks can potentially purchase a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket? Ron Siegel can help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. If you're tired of paying someone else's mortgage, reach out to Ron today at ronismylender.com. That's ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation mortgage adoption plan. You be the judge if it's right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to map@ronsiegelradio.com or call today Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporation and MLS 217037 and BCAL BRE number 018694452.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions, as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio, anytime at 800-306-1990, and every Sunday morning, right here on Go Country 105. Hey, if you're listening to us as we broadcast this live, or we record this live, I always wondered, how do you record anything other than live? I just throw that out there. But hey, feel free to interact with us on our YouTube channel or on any of our socials. Put your name in there so we can get some interaction from you. We love hearing from you right there. Better outcomes section today. 2 common mistakes made with divorce and mortgages. One of the biggest decisions divorcing homeowners face is what to do with the marital home and real property. Trying to agree on how to handle the mortgage and the home can be a challenge without proper direction. And I think you get that best direction from a certified divorce lending professional. The options available depend on a number of factors, such as how the property was financed, how ownership is currently held. Additional factors to take into consideration include the disposition of property, the amount of equity available in the property, and the income sources available for the borrowing spouse. There are many common mistakes made during divorce when working with a mortgage professional who does not fully understand the implications of divorce and the opportunities to help the divorcing homeowners with their mortgage financing. 2 of the more common mistakes made are the following. Mistake number 1, the couple has equity in the home. The spouse keeping the house should apply for a cash-out refinance to pay their ex-spouse their share. It may mean doing a cash-out refinance first to get part of the money to the existing spouse, then follow that up with a home equity loan to get the remaining money due to the existing spouse. Nah, that's a mistake. Mortgage underwriting guidelines allow for a better solution. CDLPs understand that. They work with the divorce team, and the divorcing couple's specific verbiage can be used in the marital settlement agreement, which will classify the refinance as an equity buyout rate and term refinance. The benefit is access to more equity in the home, which is usually capped at 80% loan to value with cash out refinances. Better financing terms are usually available in the situation as well. There may be title seasoning requirements for the borrowing spouse. However, the certified divorce lending professional can identify this concern when vetting the marital home. Mistake number 2, leaving the vacating spouse's name on the existing mortgage will affect the ability for the non-resident spouse to qualify for future mortgage financing because the existing mortgage payment will be included in the spouse's debt-to-income ratio if they remain on the current mortgage. Again, a CDLP can help you change that as well. When the marital settlement agreement assigns the responsibility of paying an existing debt, the debt is classified as a court-ordered assignment of debt. Oh, that's an interesting comment. Got some noise coming out of my phone over here. Oh, it's Siri listening to us. That's who it is. Gotta love it. So this is crazy. Okay, so we're gonna see if we can. I got Josh, the other engineer, looking at there, just laughing at me. Love it. For mortgage financing requirements, this may allow for the debt to be omitted from the borrower's debt-to-income ratio, helping them qualify for a new mortgage in their name only while remaining on the existing mortgage of the marital home. Before making any decisions regarding the marital home and mortgage financing opportunities, you are encouraged to build the right team around you. Do you have a question about how divorce can impact the ability to obtain mortgage financing? Give us a call, 800-306-1990, or you can get for free compliments of Ron Siegel Radio. It's the Divorce Your Mortgage Workbook. All you have to do is text My DYM Workbook to 79564, My DYM Workbook 795-64, or you can go to mydymworkbook.com. Get the workbook. It is compliments of Ron Siegel Radio. Continue our conversation. Blake Vartanian is in the house or in the studio with us. We are chatting about building equity through real estate. And I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm going to put Blake on the spot right now. I like putting people on the spot. It's always fun. We got this whole program that we're talking about here, Blake. Any idea where I could go to learn about this whole program?
Well, on Tuesday, June the 22nd, at the Realty Pro 100 offices here in Orange, we are conducting a community event called the Rapid Equity Builder Wealth Building Program. It's an educational forum. It is not a sales presentation. So we educate consumers on the actual opportunities that are available by leveraging real estate, by investing in real estate. We have materials to support the presentation. We take questions. Everybody gets a chance to interact. There's no sales pressure whatsoever. It's designed to allow you to become informed about things you may not have realized. And I can assure you, I've done hundreds of these in my career with different consumers over different periods of time. But at no time has anyone said to me, I already know all that.
Some great information. If you want more information on the specifics, it's Tuesday, June 22nd, 4 o'clock.
It's at 4 o'clock.
4 p.m. And give me a call at 800-306-1990. I know you don't have a piece of paper to write this down right now. And we'll get that information to you. RJ at RonSiegelRadio.com. RJ at RonSiegelRadio.com can also get the information to you. There might even be a flyer or something we can send out to you. And you can cost, Blake?
Free.
My favorite word.
That's kind of cost.
And you know something? Not doing something like this can be very, very expensive. So just think about that, because we've been going over and chatting with Blake about taking, and you know, the property that we talked about, Blake, was a $1.2 million property and taking out $225,000. If you've got a $500,000 or $600,000 property and you can take $225,000, that works as well.
Absolutely.
Right. And you might be able to get these same results. We're not going to guarantee any results. Anybody that guarantees results when it comes to finance, I'm going to suggest run.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's not what you want to be doing. It's not an idea. Now, we're not doing this and we're not giving you this information as any kind of an infomercial. Basically, what we do is we like to educate. And this can really give, this is life-changing stuff. When you talk about going from $1.9 million in 15 years by doing nothing to, what did I say, $6.8 million by taking action.
One funds your entire retirement, the other one doesn't.
Right, and it gives you it's a nice life. Right? Mm-hmm. I mean, $6.8 million over time, and being able to possibly do even more than that.
And you're not talking about the additional cash flow that comes from the fact that by that point you might own the property free and clear without a mortgage.
Right. So you're talking about a lot of potential. And is it financeable? Yes. Do you have to be making a lot of money to do this? No. Right? Because I'm going to suggest that I don't have the numbers in front of me. I don't even want to try and guess on radio. Right? But this may be a cash flow neutral program.
Yes.
And if it's cash flow neutral, then there's financing options whether you have a job or not.
And right? we will show examples where there will be actual positive cash flow from the properties that we demonstrate that are actual transactions that have taken place with our clients or in the market in general that are available for people to invest in.
It's a great education, and it's just an issue of getting some guidance, getting somebody to help you with the roadmap that you need to accomplish what you're looking to accomplish. And everybody's looking to accomplish something different. Maybe you're just looking to supplement what you've already got going. Maybe you're looking for some sort of a hobby. Maybe you want to make a career out of it. I'm going to suggest the education is very, very important. And as always, I ask you, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh, who's engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, Call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.